Are we live?
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And
Hi.
starting
We're
again.
done.
That was fast.
Yeah, I
That
know
was
the
a
song
very
is
quick
definitely
intro.
short. Miss Jody's gonna be very happy with
She's
it.
gonna be so happy.
Short,
It was
short,
still
and
longer than it was supposed to be.
Longer than 3 seconds.
well. Welcome to As the Rotor Turns on No Pants Thursday.
It is
Oh man.
We're at
no
an
pants Thursday.
undisclosed location, and I'm wearing no pants right now. It feels amazing.
And he's not lying.
Why do people wear pants?
I don't know.
So this is supposed to be a non-shenanigan show, and then Trish fucked that up for everybody.
How did I fuck that up?
Well, I don't know. We're talking about a serious subject today.
No pants?
Well,
No.
I mean, that's pretty
I think I
serious,
was the
but-
first one to lose my pants.
Well, that's true. You're good job. So, welcome to As the Rotor Turns.
Yeah, we got to do our disclaimer. Don't
You
forget
know,
about that.
If you don't want to listen, don't.
So,
there you go.
disclaimer. Remember, this is going to be the opinion of me, Carlos, not of the rescue company. One anybody gives us jobs, and today people gave us jobs.
They did. It was
Like
a great day.
Like a lot of people called and they want a job. I'm like, do you know who we are?
You have the
So-
wrong number.
Definitely not the
Yeah.
opinion of any of those people that called today and gave us jobs. They're very nice people. Not the opinion of the College of Emergency Physicians at all either. They're nice enough to not throw us out on the streets.
Yes.
And just me, my opinion, Carlos. And
Me.
baby, I love you.
I love you.
And then birthday buddy.
Me.
Hey, birthday buddy.
And the hippo.
Well, howdy.
Howdy.
Who will not do any more
Did
shots.
we get to hear?
No.
Did we get to hear the rest of the scenario?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, my gosh,
Jason,
no.
is there any updates on that patient?
No.
Yeah, so we have to start off with that because if we leave it to the end, it just never happens.
It
So,
never happened.
all right. So,
But I have 4 pages of notes, and we're going to talk about this.
Well, hold on. Let's see how much further we can get on this scenario that Jason's got.
the people want to know.
wanna
I
know.
don't think they
Who,
do.
who are these people?
They're out
Ashley.
there. Yeah.
But she did apologize to me later. She goes, I'm sorry. I didn't know what he wanted to talk about.
I don't know
I'm so
either.
excited.
Apparently, we're going to have to hold that update on that patient until the next episode. Hey, me and the hippo today were caught on camera doing some serious God's work.
Shut up, Kyle.
It
Yeah.
was fun. I have to admit that it's the best thing to be able to screw up on purpose.
Oh, I know. And he's like,
Because-
the guy goes, hey, you guys got to do it wrong to begin with.
Yeah.
And Jason
like,
goes, that's
"Yes,
the easiest part of this whole thing.
I got it in the bag.
I could not wait. I thought the guy was going to ask Jason to give us a scenario during the thing. I'm like, this is going to be great. Because it's supposed to be 15 minutes. We're going to be here an hour just to set up alone.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So lots to talk about today. It is, we're obviously not at Johnny's Filling Station, who is our second home for podcasting. And very nice people there. They love us, but we have to get serious on a couple podcasts and get more educational.
And nothing says more serious than no pants.
Right.
Well, it means I'm in business.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have my business socks on.
Yeah.
So,
It's also
Yeah.
true.
earlier
I
we were
just looked down and saw him.
so we recorded
What else were
earlier
you looking at?
like a little bit of a short lesson that I think has like a lot of educational points to it. Now, what we're going to do with that, we don't know because we don't know how to make our own decision because we fucked that shit up. So we're going to let Miss Jody decide what we're going to do with that. But it'll be definitely some type of subscription type thing, right? Also, with this episode, at some point, we're going to post an ability where you can log in, put some stuff in there, do like 5 easy questions, and then get CEs for this episode that we're going to talk about.
Yep.
I think that one of the things that is, and we always call him as Jody, but is Jody, our social media person who is with
65 Media.
65 Media, and she does a great job. And she sent us a great list of different dates and things that are important
Mhm.
in the United States, things that people should know about and bring awareness. Like a lot of that times we have Cheesecake Day or something like that, but there is actually a lot of things that are awareness days that we should be. And one of the ones was on the 30th of this month. Correct me if I'm wrong,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So January 30th, we weren't on the air
No, that was Sunday.
Sunday.
and Sunday, and but it was a CTE Awareness day. So chronic traumatic encephalopathy.
Right.
And there's a lot of awareness to this that we don't have. A lot of people don't show up and talk about this. So I think me and Birthday Buddy did some research. Trish and the Hippo did some research, and hopefully we'll have some good conversation. But I also think that there's a lot of great points as far as like for test takers out there, for people who are going to take their flight paramedic or critical care exam, their nursing, CFRN, the flight exam or transport exam. I think there's a lot of stuff in there that we can add points to that has to do with this, right?
Yeah, anything with the brain, I think,
Yeah.
is
Is important.
it's where it all
Very
starts.
vital.
It's where it all
Yeah.
starts, you know?
So a couple of things though that I think we should talk about before we get deep into the CTE is number one. Baby, you got some words of the day here
I do.
for us here. So here's some words.
No.
We still can't lose our identity.
Okay.
All right. So, Aaron Hernandez.
That's your word of the day.
That's one of them.
Okay. Ooh, that's a good.
That's gonna be a
But what you got, Hippo? What do you think for Aaron Hernandez?
So this is per Urban Dictionary.
yeah.
I did not write it or come up with it.
I'm
or-
glad you're making that disclaimer.
Yeah,
there,
I
Birthday
Yeah, I
Buddy.
think I
feel like
already-
we're
Yeah.
gonna need that.
I think I
Yeah.
already know where it's going. If you're an Aaron Hernandez, then you are
Well, he has no
Wait.
clue.
no,
He has no clue.
no. I haven't. Well,
I think he just isn't sure how to say.
I don't want to offend anybody.
Oh,
you know,
yeah, yeah.
because-
It is offensive.
Oh yeah. So let's go ahead. Go ahead and pepper up.
Right.
Well,
I'm-
push on, my friend. Let's see what you got.
so if you're Aaron Hernandez, then you're murdered by your gay lover.
Oh my
Oh
God.
wow, that you went. And that's offensive as shit. I'm offended.
It is-
Motherfucker. God damn
it's
it.
close.
I didn't even see
and
that.
it's close.
Is it
All right.
close? Really?
Maybe.
Is it when you tie like some type of rubber band thing and like you're choking your balls out?
Oh my God.
I've done that before. I didn't know if it had a name or not.
No.
No?
Well, maybe you should come up with one.
Well,
We'll call it the Carlos.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's a lot of things named after me already. So, what you got, Birthday Buddy? She's all red. Birthday Buddy's got a lazy eye. If people are
I
out there, we're
do.
calling her a
I
Jason
don't know
eye.
what's happening today. Kyle commented and said to get murked.
Ooh, I don't even know what that is, but that sounds horrible too.
It does.
Which Kyle is it? Kyle, our Kyle?
Pain. Yeah.
Oh, no shit.
Which congratulations.
Yeah,
on
Oh,
your
congratulations to Kyle.
promotion.
Got promoted
Yeah,
over
he
there.
did.
Congratulations.
Obviously, they don't know he's a degenerate.
Surprised it took so long. You know.
And what does Aaron Hernandez mean?
It means to murder 3 people, then hang yourself from a window with bed sheets. So, like, the conversation is, dude, how did that game go? Second guy says, I'm going to go home and Aaron Hernandez.
Okay.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's probably the worst word you've picked the whole time.
That's pretty bad. pretty
Holy
bad.
shit.
But it's
Listen.
it's kind of
It'll definitely fit into our CTE conversation later.
exactly.
So, there's another one. It's the reverse Midas touch.
Ooh,
Oh.
you're just gonna have to tell us that. We don't have enough time. We got an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Minus. I'm thinking exhaust. You know,
Or
rear end. Am I close? Am I close?
is it like when let's say you're giving somebody a rusty trombone and they fart in your face?
Oh.
I don't even know what a rusty trombone is.
It's when you're tossing somebody salad, but you're like giving them a hand job at the same time, like you're playing the trombone.
Ah.
See what I'm saying? Right here.
You definitely lied to Robbie.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Sorry.
So it is talent for turning anything you touch to shit.
Oh,
Mm.
horrible. Buddy, if you can save the show with your text from last night, please do.
So the text from last night wasn't really getting me there. So
Oh.
I picked
Okay.
Oh.
a little Johnny joke.
Oh, go ahead.
A new teacher was trying to make
love
use
these.
of her psychology courses. She started her class by saying, "Everyone who thinks you're stupid, stand up." After a few seconds, little Johnny stood up. The teacher said, "Do you think you're stupid, little Johnny?" "No, ma'am, but I hate to see you standing there all by yourself."
I love those, man. Those Johnny jokes.
I do too.
Yeah, fucking funny as shit. Oh man. So one of the other things I want to talk about for number one, Hippo, what is this tool that we use in EMS right here?
Well, that is a ET tube holder slash alternate airway holder.
A commercial
And,
securing device.
It is.
Yeah, commercial securing device.
Absolutely.
And it's Thomas lock.
Is that to keep you from getting bit?
Well, it's a Thomas lock. So basically you take any type of securing device, not just for endotracheal tube, any advanced airway, right?
Or even so like that particular one is a little bit wider. So like an eye gel, which is very wide, will actually fit in there.
Yep. And it's not about length sometimes, it's about girth.
Absolutely.
Right?
That's right.
Yeah. You want to touch both sides if you can. So this right here, a lot of times is it's placed in the wrong way. Correct?
It is actually always, in my case, placed the wrong way. And how do you do that? 50% of the time you should get it right. But
Yeah, it works
50%
all the
of
time.
They always get it wrong.
So even to the point where they've made allegedly a version for where you work at where they've actually put the nose.
They did. They
got a
did
picture of the nose on there.
specifically for us.
Yeah.
And,
Still get it wrong.
Or what we say the opening towards the feet.
Yes.
So you remember opening towards the feet, and it just like creates a better angle of placement for this. And we're gonna do a demonstration where we put this in the Trish's mouth.
Oh,
and
okay.
actually watch this.
We are?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So
Let's do this.
baby,
They've done
what you-
studies, 60%
Actually,
of the
birthday
time,
buddy,
it works
you should
every time.
go ahead
Should
and
help her out.
Go ahead and help her out with that. Yeah. Go ahead and put that in your mouth, please. So you gotta imagine that Trisha's got an ET tube sticking out of her mouth right now.
Or a
my
ball.
goodness.
Or a ball. Yeah.
You're not
Yeah.
helping.
Yeah.
You're not helping her.
So she's gonna demonstrate that right there.
Proper technique.
I don't
Make
do
sure.
it.
Yeah, just put it right through that hole right
Yep,
there.
there you
Yep. Give her a good there it is. And then just
pull it. You gotta pull it tight.
pull it tight. Yep.
Pull
Give
it
her a little
through.
Velcro to it.
Careful.
I
Easy.
don't know where it's supposed to go.
It's
That's what they always say.
it's
Oh, I see. Okay, hold on.
Velcro's right back
Mhm.
to it.
Buckle your head up.
Uh-oh, you're gonna break her teeth.
Yeah.
So this has a
Oh, she has a big head.
so this is I know. I love it. This has a built-in bite block on it, right? So it keeps you from biting down on the tube.
You're not done. You're not done yet.
And
Oh,
Well,
You're not done yet.
so we don't have nice things right there.
Yep.
And with the built-in bite block itself, the problem with this, Jason, is you can't use this for a long period of time, is that foam on it.
Okay.
That creates tissue breakdown.
Right.
So that's one of the considerations why it gets like removed after a certain period of time.
Oh,
Now this is a great transport ET tube holder.
Yeah.
Because it's going to create good, thing there. But now they've improved on this quite a bit. Actually, where you don't have to screw down on it, you can just push towards the tube now.
I see.
Just bam,
There it is.
and it secures. And now to bring it back though, you have to unscrew it. You know what I mean?
You don't.
No, you don't.
You don't. That blue piece, push the blue piece on the front
Oh,
and then pull it back.
well, I'll be a monkey's uncle.
hold on to your head. Oh,
Yeah.
there we
There
go.
it is right there.
So that's
I almost
it-
got caught in that.
we have one. We have something like this with a ball in my house. It's called a ball gag.
Exactly.
Yeah. Comes out on special occasions.
Black balls. But no,
So-
that's we actually just started carrying that particular one. It's pretty
Allegedly.
cool. Allegedly.
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 Yeah, absolutely.
I think it was actually they started making them like 2014.
Well, thank you for your demonstration
Yes,
there.
thank you very much.
You guys are beautiful.
Oh, you ruined it. Now it's
Did you-
It's got lipstick all over it.
That's all right.
And so does the rest of my face.
So, anyways, the other thing that I wanted before we get into the CTE topic here, and get into birthday buddies notes, is that for people that do podcasts, right, and especially businesses like ours and stuff like this, like we use social media quite a bit. Social media is the new world's advertisement and stuff, and but I do find that being able to, in a country where we have laws that protect your opinion, right? You have the ability to express your opinion.
Yes.
And I do think that, we should be cautious of not harming others people's feelings on purpose. You shouldn't go out and like set out that if your opinion is you're setting out to hurt others, then that's stupid. That's an abuse of the law.
Yeah.
That's an abuse of the law. But when you're just doing your job and staying, what you believe to be true or not, you should be heard. And if you have no ill intent with that, you should not, be, persecuted for it.
Yeah. It's funny you bring that up. I was listening this morning to talk radio, and they actually were talking about the fact that, you have a voice or rights to say whatever you want, freedom of speech. And that also includes hate,
Absolutely. Unfortunately, that
both sides.
You have to, if you want your rights to be supported, you have to support the rights of others, whether you like what they say or not. I think that, and I've said this before on other podcasts, I think in the last few years, we have turned the thing to try not to offend others, and people that stand up for others being offended is that they're more racist or more hateful than the person saying anything. And obviously, if you don't know, if you've been on the rock or anything, like I think that the ability that we have today to sit in a do this podcasting, broadcast right over the internet,
right,
broadcast for free, and able to express our own opinion, like was, Joe Rogan is the guy that like made this popular what it is. He's been at this game a lot longer than anybody.
Right.
Which is why he's worth the money that he's worth. And then you have some people out there using their weight to try to mess with this man's livelihood. Like, honestly, I listen to Joe Rogan quite a bit. We've been so busy doing other stuff that I haven't caught up on Joe Rogan shows. I don't know what he said that had to do with the whole COVID thing or anything like that. But for people to go to the extreme, like I'm pretty sure that whatever he said didn't hurt anybody else out there.
You're gonna have to catch me up on what
I don't know exactly what he said, Jason. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, like, what was the fallout? Like,
apparently that he said something about COVID that thousands of medical professionals got upset about, and they wrote something to Spotify, which caused like people, great singers like James Taylor to pull their music from Spotify.
Oh,
and but now James Taylor's messing with a man's livelihood. I just don't believe that's right.
Right.
Like I don't believe it's right. I'm a medical professional, and so is my wife. So are you. So is Birthday Buddy. You know what I'm saying? And like we don't, we feel for the people that lose their lives doing this job. We feel for the patients that are out there. We're out there risking our lives for these people.
Yeah.
And but however, I can respect somebody that has a different opinion of how things should be treated. Obviously, we're strong. We feel that, the vaccine enough personally protects us. And this is why we on this show have it. But I also respect people that don't want to have it.
Right. Yeah, everybody has
why?
choice,
because that's their choice, man. And like we've got to respect people.
But it has to go both ways.
Yeah.
Don't hate me because I choose to get it.
Yeah.
I'm not showing you hate because you choose not to.
Yeah.
Just be respectful of other people.
We have to respect others. That's my bottom line. Let's respect others. And we were just talking before the show. We got one rule around here.
Everybody love everybody.
Everybody love everybody.
Oh, it's so hard.
Let me just say,
ELE.
Let me just say one thing. Shane, we love you too, and happy belated birthday.
Hey, happy birthday, Shane.
Birthday.
Is Shane's birthday?
Well, it was a couple days ago.
Oh shit. We'll do a shot for Shane.
Happy birthday.
Shane.
Shots.
That is delicious right there.
Oh, she's a mess over there.
Oh god. I dribbled a little bit.
Yeah.
Me too.
We're gonna do that later too. Anyways, go ahead and express your opinion. We got stuff to talk about.
What? That's it.
Oh, okay.
I just said people should respect other people
Well, I love you.
and their decisions. And if they want to say something, then they should be able to say it.
Yeah, unfortunately, man, I'm telling you what, like there's definitely
There's a lot of things that I don't listen to.
Yeah, I've never seen the divides that we're under right now.
Yeah.
Maybe good things go in circle and like and this, but in my adult life, I've never seen so much hate. I've never seen it. Like I've never, I know that during the civil rights and stuff like that, we saw people hating on others. But right now, in this modern day, I've never seen so much hate.
Yeah. It's great.
I just was not raised like that.
Yeah.
You know, like if somebody's gay and they love, you know, somebody the same sex, I respect that. At least you have people that love each other.
Mhm.
You know, like whatever race you're in, race you are, whatever whatever you want to do. I think you should fucking respect people and let.
Oh, Kyle.
Yeah.
You know,
Kyle made a good point. I cannot show it, but
what do you
thank
do?
Kyle, for that.
What do you? I can't see.
Yeah, you don't want it. You don't want to say it.
Really?
I don't know. I don't know.
It might get us flagged.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Really?
let's not get flagged.
Yeah,
anyways.
we
I'm
might.
sure that I already said COVID too much during
Yeah,
this thing,
right.
so we
Yeah.
get flagged anyway.
Exactly.
Well, I
So,
agree with you, Kyle.
Yeah. So anyway,
I mean, we all agree with him.
Wholeheartedly.
Yeah, we agree with you for sure.
Even Carlos, he doesn't know what you said, but he agrees.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I'm gonna hold that.
We're gonna watch To Catch a Predator
Yeah.
later.
Yeah.
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 In the mirror.
So let's talk about CTE. You know, we talk a lot about mental health during the show, and here is what I like to call a traumatic injury that's causing a significant mental health epidemic.
Mhm.
If I may use the epidemic and not say COVID in the same sentence. You know, it's causing a thing, and it's a lot of people don't really see this. You know, don't really see this. But I posted a question to you guys before we started the show. I said that the most common, what is that sport that causes the most concussions?
that.
You don't say it because you probably heard me say it before. So it's not good.
So
I'll
it
let
doesn't count. I don't count.
So what do you think, Jason? Sport that causes the most concussions.
I know. I know.
Frisbee golf. I think frisbee golf. It's a,
Oh
Who the
my
fuck was that even in the
God.
same
hey, it can be violent. You know, you ever play frisbee?
I
full
played that.
contact frisbee golf?
Yeah. It's
No, seriously though,
dangerous.
you have a guess?
What did Danny say?
Danny says soccer.
Oh, fucking Danny. Can we be more specific on which
Fucking Danny Miller.
Really?
what's be
Oh.
more specific on the
More
on the
specific?
on the soccer? Does he know?
More specific on the soccer.
Yeah. Well, if he said football, I could see you go more specific, but maybe like rugby.
No, it's girls soccer.
Really?
Girls
Women.
soccer has
Women.
Man,
girls
they're rough.
soccer
They're mean.
has the
They
most
are.
concussions
Girls are mean.
per capita.
That's
you know?
pretty- well, I mean,
So
they're so fragile. I can understand why.
no, they're fucking nasty when they play that soccer. Like, you know, they're fucking smacking heads and doing all kinds of shit.
Have you watched women's lacrosse?
Yeah, well, that doesn't cause as much
That's
concussions.
surprising, actually.
You know, so
You know, another one that was really violent is women's water polo.
really.
You ever see the
Yeah.
girls?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah, yeah.
They're
yeah.
big.
Yeah. What can a skinny woman do for you?
Not a goddamn thing.
Not a goddamn thing.
My wife, she's a sturdy gal.
So listen, Jason's having fun with his
I
board
love
over there.
it. I love it.
Good Lord. There's semen all over that board. I know it. Yeah. So birthday buddy, we were sitting here doing some research the other day. And
We
you
were.
came up with a lot of stuff. Hit me with some of this knowledge.
I got a lot of stuff. So, just to start, what is CTE? You said it. Chronic traumatic encephalopathy.
For the mouth breathers out there, and I mean that in with all due respect. So you can't. It's in the Geneva
Just because
Convention.
you say with all due respect.
It's in the Geneva Convention.
Okay.
You can't hold it against me. So encephalopathy, brain swelling.
Mhm.
So like anytime the brain swells greater than its normal size, you're obviously going to run out of room. You know that after 18 months of age, the brain, that the skull is a fixed cavity.
Mhm.
So you have no room to grow. So
Right.
you basically have enough room for the brain tissue, the amount of cerebrospinal fluid that's in it, and the blood that flows in there. And basically any more than that, your brain is going to start to move from its original space. Is going to be called that herniation.
Right.
Mhm.
And it's supposed to have that fluid in there so that it can move around
Yeah.
and like wobble with
Cushion
you
it.
instead of
Wah, 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 wah.
Yeah.
banging on the side of your head.
Absolutely.
But when you say play football and you have two helmets that collide,
Mm-hmm.
now your brain hits the outside too hard. So what makes this different than like a traumatic brain injury is that this is a progressive degenerative disease linked to repetitive brain trauma. So a TBI, like you can heal from that.
So traumatic brain injury, you can heal from it.
Mhm. But this you cannot because it's progressively degenerating your brain and it
Like-
can affect all different parts of your brain. It's not just located in one area, or one area is susceptible to it, or whatever. So, and the other thing that I found really interesting about it is that you can't diagnose it while you're alive.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Like
That is insane.
yeah, I didn't know that you brought that up. You know, so here's an interesting thing about like the brain itself. When you look at the brain, the outside of it, we call it, you see all the time, like you see gray matter, right? So if you see gray matter, we're not gonna work that patient, right?
Right.
But the inside of the brain is more important than the outside.
Yes.
It's the white matter. So that white matter is that fatty sodium containing area where all the neurons in brain communication happens. You know, so the electrical impulse that go through back and forth. And what's crazy about that is that the outside of the spinal cord is white matter. The inside of the spinal cord is gray matter. So you know that on the spinal cord, the communication happens on the outside of it. So when you get a concussion, can you let's say that you're trying to tell somebody that's not in medicine, Jason. This is good. I've been planning this for a week. So you got somebody that's not in medicine and you're trying to describe what a concussion is. Give it to me.
Basically, I would say that
Anytime Jason starts with basically, you know it's gonna be good. I'm gonna have a drink to that.
Yeah. So
Every time he says basically,
I would say that it's a loss of memory after some kind of a trauma to your head. You know,
but
forget.
it's not just your memory that's affected.
So yeah, check this out. So if I ask anybody that, even a medical person, and within the first 3 words they say is a memory loss thing, that's like the smallest portion and side effect of a concussion. Think about the concussion is this, like we recorded a little bit thing earlier today about this, like, right? So the VCR, for you millennials out there, VCR is this machine. You would put these big black things in it and it would go, sorry, allegedly. And this these cassettes, they were like large things.
What's a cassette?
It's like a big DVD. You know, prior, they're fatter than a DVD. It's got girth to it. And you would put this into a machine called the VCR. Right? In that VCR, you would set the time on it. There was a clock, and there's like it would take 10 days to set the clock on that thing to get it fucking right. And then you wanted to synchronize that clock with your TV. And then you would basically then set that clock to record at a certain time.
On a certain channel.
On a certain channel at a certain time, and bam. And then you would leave. But I live in fucking Florida.
Right. So
what would happen is lightning would strike my house and would reset that fucking clock back to the factory settings. So so what's that electrical impulse? Like when lightning strikes your house, that electrical impulse is basically this thing that like a jolt of electricity, and it resets all your stuff in your house back to factory reset, right?
Yes.
So with a concussion, that's what's happening is you get this electrical impulse that flies through the neurons. They don't really recognize it, and they go, fuck, reset. And when you reset, you're going to go back
to the last thing.
The last thing you remember. So you know, and basically look at it this way. That's not the most dangerous point. The most dangerous portion of a concussion is that your reaction time is decreased.
Okay.
Like by definition, psychomotor retardation. Psychomotor retardation.
I mean, can you say that these days?
Yeah, well, it's a medical term.
Yeah, well,
yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
Depends on who you're talking to.
So does the other. So does the other one.
So birthday buddy, the reaction time during a concussion is very, very slow, right?
Yes. And like to hit on what you were saying, memory loss and like when you get further into CTE, it can cause dementia, but those are much later and much more severe cases. The most common of the symptoms are impaired judgment, which would be your reaction times to things, impulse control problems, again, reaction time.
Yeah.
And then mental health. So aggression, depression, anxiety, suicide. Those are all of the things that it's going to cause these people to have.
I mean, my mom must have dropped me a lot as a kid.
That's probably why your head's so big.
God dang. All of these things.
So one of the things I found is the most common cause of death with CTE is actually a respiratory failure, followed by cardiac disease, suicide, overdose, and other symptoms that are with end stage dementia.
Is it in that order? Do you know? Do you remember? It was in that order.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Trish. Yeah. What is it?
Okay. So The other thing I thought was pretty interesting is, for me, everything I've ever heard about CTE is it's all associated with football and it's all going after the NFL and we're not following the concussion protocol and, all that stuff. But there's so many other people and sports that like are affected, and it started long before football.
Yeah.
It started with boxing in the 1920s.
Yeah. So, let's talk about some of this stuff right
I
here
mean,
because
boxing is pretty bad, right?
yeah,
Right.
well, there is some things that you should bring to attention here about the impaired judgment, the slow reaction time, because the chance of re-injury during this period is high.
Yes.
Okay.
So, so CTE is the result of different diffuse brain injuries,
Mm-hmm.
like multiple diffuse
Yes.
brain injuries. That's basically having brain injuries that happen consistently, back to back, where like the NFL players that you saw a while back, a few years ago, that went back and basically were saying, hey, what's going on with, what they were suing about, people didn't really understand is the fact that, they took a hit, but they didn't go unconscious. See, not every concussion makes you unconscious.
Right.
Right. And then they would go back into the game. They would take us another hit. But you see, it's not just that game. It could have been a game like the next Sunday or a practice 5 days after that hit. And all of a sudden, what's happening? Their reaction times are slow.
Mhm.
They don't know. Where you would be able to juke left. Now you juke right and
Yeah.
you take a freaking hit and now you're concussed again.
Right.
It's a compound injury after injury, right? So let me ask you this, Jason. You played football for a little bit, right? So how do I know that your reaction time is okay to put you back in the game?
Shoot, when I played, we only had enough to play both sides, so there's like
So if you
just
took
enough
a hit
players.
and you weren't unconscious and you weren't vomiting and you weren't, then
Right.
you were put back in the game.
Yeah.
And that's the way it's always been till years and years. I remember
2009, before the NFL started their concussion protocol.
But it's interesting you brought up this 1922.
1920s.
1920s. This was an actual issue in boxing.
Yep.
So most places that would commission boxing fights, they would actually have pre-fight reaction time testing.
Yes.
So it's what we call the King's Dibbit test.
Mm-hmm.
And they would actually go and they would test your reaction time prior to you taking a hit. And this is what the ringside doctor would use to determine if you were okay to continue in the fight.
Yeah, that was your baseline. And then you weren't allowed to go back in until you got back to your baseline.
Gotcha. Now, does it go by the whole 10 seconds when when you get knocked out, the referee usually will count?
Yeah, the 10-second rule and stuff like that. But they also look at your legs.
Yeah.
Right. They look at your steps. They look to see like if they look maybe if they clear you after that hit, they look for the next few hits.
Okay.
Right. So one of the things that's interesting, they had a death in the ring that happened 2 years ago, and the doctor actually got criminal charges filed on him. And the biggest thing that doctor did, and we won't mention what this fight is or where it happened. It's on YouTube. You can look this thing up. They actually have this doctor looking at his cell phone during the fight. See, the ringside doctor should be looking in at all times. And this doctor had like 7 8 different signs. Me as a non-physician, but as a medical professional, could pick out and go, this motherfucker ain't there.
Yeah.
So like, he ain't there. And like the doctor missed the fact this guy had a massive brain bleed.
Mm-hmm.
They ended up killing him in the ring. See, you got to look for subtle signs here.
That's part of what I found with the concussion protocol.
Mhm.
Is not only is there now a neurotrauma expert that has to be on the sidelines for both teams, but there are also spotters in different locations at different levels.
Yeah.
So they're looking down, they're looking from the side, they're looking from an angle, and it says the signs that they look for are loss of balance, loss of consciousness, obviously, confusion, disorientation, head clutching, facial injuries, slow movements after a hard-hitting play. And if they have any of those signs, then they're immediately taken off the field, and they can't come back until a team of doctor, the neurotrauma person, and these other people agree to let the player return.
So
does each team has that, regardless of whether or not they're home or away?
Yes.
Like although they all travel with them.
Yes.
Yeah. So in the high school, it's interesting. So my son, he's a good example. My son's a great athlete, and when he came into high school, ranked, and as a football player, and then he fortunate kid to be playing varsity football as a freshman, got a lot of looks, a lot of good plays out there,
Right.
A few state championships. When the letters start coming home, you get the questionnaire from the NCAA. You get that questionnaire is basically like, hey, are your grades or stuff, but one of the things is there, how many head injuries have you had?
Yep.
So how many head injuries do you think the NCAA gives you?
Now, what is considered a head injury?
So
Because-
anything that's diagnosed as a traumatic brain injury, TBI, could be a concussion, could be anything.
but it would have to be diagnosed by a doctor and
Oh.
documented.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
So documented brain injuries.
Even ER visits.
Absolutely. So that's the problem that we get into, because a concussion is a diagnosis of exclusion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm slurring my words. Diagnosis of exclusion. Right? Because that means that ER doctor doesn't know what your reaction times, and he's going off of history alone and what your symptoms you're describing. So therefore, you are documented a head injury. How many of those do you get and still get a scholarship in the NCAA? By the way, the current amount of money that a college athlete costs is somewhere between $80,000 to $100,000 a year. So
Really?
that's feeding them, working them out, uniforms, housing them, books. So not a year, so like a total of 4 years. So you're looking
I
at
think you were probably right the first time.
it could be,
Yeah,
but it's a lot of money.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's say just throwing a school out there, University of Notre Dame. Right? How many head injuries does the NCAA give you? You can still play.
I mean, I would think, if that's a question they're asking you prior to college, and you're good enough to get into a place like that, there's got to be 20, 25 your lifetime.
3
for your
3.
whole life.
in your
3.
lifetime. 3, sir.
Before you
Wow.
cannot play college ball.
Yeah, and some places will give you 4, but 3 for the NCAA. Most of the time, NCAA clearinghouse. My son came in with 1 head injury. He had a documented head injury. He was 5 years old. He was concussed. He was actually intubated in the hospital for a good period of time. And story for another time. But that dropped his prospects down to no Division I schools. He could have gone Division
because
I.
of one.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because
Wow.
basically who wants to give you a few $100,000 worth of their money if you run the chance you can have another
Right.
one, right? So it's insane.
Number 4 on my sports list was the youngest deceased player. It was a 17-year-old high school football player who had a concussion, and the reason he died was from second impact syndrome. So he went back to playing, and he wasn't all the way healed.
Yep.
And now he's on the list of the top 20 sports injuries that are related to this, and he was only 17.
Buddy, you brought up a whole list of symptoms there, but I'm gonna defer some stuff to Trish here. With babe, so you're assessing a kid, because it's funny. The ginger started playing football last year. He's out there with no soul, just looking on the sideline. And but Trish, by default, as part of the rescue company one, we volunteered Trish to be the sideline medic.
Oh,
Yeah, it was awesome, and you did a great job, and you're beautiful. And I love you.
I love you.
So, babe, when you're assessing, what are you looking for to tell me they're hey, this kid has that head injury?
Like you said, the balance, some nystagmus.
Nystagmus, right?
Mhm.
Nystagmus basically means your brain is at factory settings, right? You're in how do you know that somebody's got enough ketamine and they're sedated, that the eyes start to do the flickering, right? He's going to the side. And that's part of a head injury right there. And that's how they may be awake, they may be answering questions, but look at their eyes,
So I think if we end up doing it again this coming year, we will do a
season baseline
evaluation.
Yeah.
But I was not aware that we were going to be doing that before the season started.
Yeah, we're kind of
So
caught off guard.
we did not do
But
that.
but birthday buddy, if we're testing them on the sideline, we should probably not be putting them back in the game, regardless what
Right.
the testing
I don't
says.
think. I think that most of the kids that I was a little concerned about, I didn't let go back in.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the safest thing to do. Like,
Right.
no matter what the fuck happens, if it's enough of a concern that we're testing you, we should not put you back in the game.
So we just found out for Little League, they instated a new rule this year that any type of hit to the head, whether it's with a ball, a bat, another person, anything, if you have any type of hit to the head, you have to sit out of the game for a minimum of 30 minutes.
Only if you're batting and running bases.
No, it's any head injury.
We talked about that.
You know,
But any,
we were going to have a special guest today on the show.
Yeah.
The sister of Junior Seau. And if you're a football, you know, it's funny as shit because I don't read any of the podcast texts you guys send out.
Good to know. All right.
Yeah. Don't waste your time
Yeah.
thinking I'm gonna respond to
Right.
that motherfucker.
if he knows anything about them, it's because I read them. to
Yeah,
him.
I got people's.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean? Like, why should I read my own shit anymore?
Yeah. I
Quite
agree.
frankly,
agree.
I think that we should get to the point where if I'm sitting on the toilet, birthday buddy's reading me. I don't like reading my own shit anymore.
Well, we're halfway there right now.
Yeah.
So
So, but birthday buddy the other day
Why?
goes
Because he
like,
doesn't have pants
yeah,
on, right?
yeah. Birthday buddy
I'm
goes
actually
the other
getting
day, and she's telling me, I'm telling, man, I'm going on a Junior Seau history thing. And I'm just telling her about this guy. And she goes, yeah, that guy's sister was supposed to be on the show. And I go, whose sister? And we got into that back and forth.
And I didn't know who he was.
Oh yeah, because she kept pronouncing the wrong name all fucked up.
Yeah.
You know that guy you're talking about.
Sue.
Yeah.
I didn't know who she was.
But
I
unfortunately,
just trusted Miss Jody.
they had a family death
Right.
a few days ago, which our condolences go to them. And they have a sick family member from the same accident. They're taken
Yes.
care of, and our condolences. Whatever they need, you got us here. You got a family here at the rescue company one.
Yep.
One of the things with Junior Seau is that and there's no matter who you talk to, the nicest man you could ever meet. That is the truth. And a lot of people say that about people that pass away.
Right.
But that is the fucking truth about a man that, like, you know, he came from like nothing. And then to that community in San Diego that he played at, you know, he made that like a home for him. And you know, but this is a fucking guy that would talk to like a bum on the street, as you know, at the height of his fucking career. You know what I mean?
Right.
And if you were holding the football between the whistles, you didn't want him wearing the different color uniform. He's gonna fuck you up.
Yeah.
He's gonna fuck you up. But you know what that guy man would do after he knocked you on your ass? He would help you up.
Yeah.
He was a sportsman, you know, and lost, and then when he fucking won, and he lost like a gentleman. But the amount of concussions, what was the number that you received there, birthday buddy?
1,500.
1,500 concussions throughout his entire 20-year career.
And you got it. How
Now,
many did
hold
he
on.
have before he was a fucking football player?
How many more is that than 3?
Yeah.
You're only allowed to have 3.
So you're
Yeah.
talking about this is you know, listen, I respect Miss Jody. Miss Jody's a football player. She
Yeah.
played professional football in the female league.
Yep.
Mhm.
And she knows like what it is to play hurt. Like my wife has been on the sideline with me, like playing with, you know, semi-pro football. And like, you know, which is, you know, they're practicing right now. You know how hard it is not to go out there because I have other responsibilities right now.
Yeah.
And like it fucking hurts me, and she knows that because I fucking love going out there.
Mhm.
But the amount of pain that I would be in like days after, and the amount of times that I've in my 40 some odd years of playing ball that I've played hurt. And it just shouldn't be out there, you know. It's like, but you play the game, and Junior Seau was the fucking man's man out there playing football.
Right.
And like he would go out there and he would do the thing, but towards the end of his career, he's unrecognizable as far as like his demeanor. He was being mean and not the nice guy everybody knew.
And he was depressed.
Yeah.
He was suicidal. And then he had a doctor who made poor choices and was over prescribing Ambien to him.
Yeah.
In a time where when I went down this rabbit hole yesterday, he had driven his car off of a cliff and survived the accident. And the doctor kept giving him Ambien and kept giving him more medications that weren't actually helping him, but could, you know, negatively impact your thoughts.
I got a little clip here for you guys.
Yeah.
If you're
And-
ready.
Go ahead, hit it.
Arrested
wanted for domestic violence in Oceanside, California early on Monday.
Seau accused of hitting his 25-year-old girlfriend.
Junior Seau drove his SUV right off a cliff in California.
Former pro football star has apparently fallen on hard times.
So, and I mean, it's a clip after clip, and you go, that's not Junior Seau.
Yep.
That is
Right.
not him.
And they didn't know, again, back to what we said earlier, they didn't know there was anything wrong with his brain to this extent until he was dead.
Yeah.
Because the family sued and demanded an autopsy of his brain. And then his sister, Mary, who is the one that was going to come on our show.
Which we think we still are going to have her
We
on,
will.
which is why we don't want to like go a whole bunch
Yeah,
into it.
But
But
she founded the CTE Awareness Foundation so that it can bring light to this and that it is a real problem. And there are things that you can look for that might give you an idea. But you still can't diagnose it.
so, birthday buddy, the Junior Seau did take his own life.
Yes.
And he was one of like, I think either the second or the third football player to do so in this manner, because he actually left a note basically stating what?
That he just couldn't do it anymore. He told his sister to protect the kids' brains.
And
And
then,
she had no idea what he was talking about.
but he shot himself
In the chest
in the chest.
at 43 years old.
Why did he shoot himself in the chest?
To protect his brain so it could be studied.
So it could be studied.
Yep. And I was going to ask if there was any other people that had done the same thing and that left a note and explained why they did it the way they did it.
I didn't find any like that. A majority of them that have passed because they found out later they had CTE, they did either commit suicide or they overdosed on drugs.
So, I'm pretty positive that he's either the second or the third football player to do this, where basically left a note saying to study his brain, and then they shot themselves in the chest so that to preserve the brain so it could be studied.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until Junior Seau did it that the attention was brought to this.
Right.
Didn't they kind of touch on it a little bit in Any Given Sunday?
They talk a little bit about that
But
during
not a lot.
not a whole lot about it. And that's a good point, baby, because you do bring up a good point, because it has the Lawrence Taylor character in that movie where he's just trying to make it to get that bonus, and that pay and that stuff. And that's the
But
problem
his
with
personality is changing.
Yeah, absolutely.
The more he gets hit,
The more
the more angry he gets.
he's unable to
Yeah.
cope with normal situations.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And it's disproportional reactions. That is the actual a name there. And a disproportional reaction is when you're overreacting to a situation that you would normally act different. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So
Now, that brings up a thought in my mind is salt. Salt really pisses me off. And when I don't have
Oh
salt,
my God.
it really pisses me off, along with touching touching boxes. Just so
yeah,
you guys know, you people know.
You're a box toucher.
Yeah, you
You
people know
touched
what
the
I'm
box.
talking about.
Ay, ay, ay.
Whose box did you touch?
Fucking salt.
Yeah.
You touch Salt's box?
Yeah. Fucking hippo with this shit. Trying to be serious here.
I know.
I know.
Robbie's gonna write you up.
Hey, well, we have
No
to
inside
make
jokes.
some light.
Yes.
It's terrible. Obviously,
Didn't we have like a memo on the
Yes.
inside jokes?
No
sent
inside
out?
jokes.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay.
We get screened about inside jokes because people don't understand them.
Yeah.
Birthday buddy, like we have other athletes, not just football players.
Correct.
So you had a list of like how many people did you like?
20.
20. Let's read some of these names.
Goodness.
That are not football, right?
Yep.
So Bob Probert was a hockey player for the Red Wings.
Detroit.
Sugar Ray Robinson.
Oh, boxer.
Yep.
He had 198 fights between 1940 and 1965, winning 173 of them.
Wow.
Had stage 3 CTE,
Yep.
which there are 4. So stage 3 is pretty bad.
Yeah. Leon, a boxer that's interesting when you hear interview from Leon Spinks in the 70s, and then you hear Leon Spinks on Howard Stern's show, and you swear that the man's drunk, but he's perfectly sober, trying to talk, and he's on his speech is ridiculous. You can't understand what he's saying. I mean, it's crazy. Go ahead.
Joe Louis, boxing world champ.
Yeah.
Reg Fleming was the first known hockey player. Andrew Test Martin, pro wrestler, died of a drug overdose.
Mhm.
He was the second wrestler diagnosed post-mortem.
Wow.
There were 3 hockey players in the same year that all died of overdoses and suicide.
What's crazy is pro hockey, you basically your face and head is like almost non-protected.
Right.
As a hockey player, like as a goalie who gets, struck in the face quite a bit. And it's amazing. You have no idea how fast a puck is coming. And when you take a puck directly to the face, it's fucking insane.
Mhm.
Like I can imagine, I've
Over and over and over.
well, I have like probably 5 goalie helmets, and basically I would just like take the goalie helmet out of service the minute it would have a crack on it, and most goalie helmets would last me like 3 or 4 months.
Oh wow.
Of like when I was playing hockey quite a bit, because I would take, I can stop a puck with my face, because if I can still see the puck, which usually I'm following it in my head, I get hit in the face a lot. I get the money shot quite a bit.
Nice.
Yeah. So to see me play hockey is awesome.
What about
So then there is Ryan Friel, who was the first baseball player
Yeah.
to have it.
Yeah.
He got a severe head injury while chasing a fly ball.
Wow.
And then Chris Benoit.
Chris Benoit. Now that's an interesting one.
That
Right.
is an interesting one.
So Chris Benoit, the Rabid Wolverine. I'm a wrestling fan from way back. And so you got Chris Benoit, man, like probably one of the most competitive wrestlers out there. He's a smaller guy in stature.
Mhm.
But I do have a personal story to share with Chris Benoit. So me and my partner Ray Dixon, allegedly, let's talk about this allegedly. We're watching wrestling, doing a live wrestling event here at the old Orlando Arena. So we figure that we're gonna like tailgate prior to this wrestling event. Now, this is a bad thing because we got there like 8 hours before the wrestling thing. And we were tailgating. We emptied out a cooler. We emptied out a second cooler. Then we got inside the wrestling thing, and they were doing 2-for-1 Long Island iced teas.
Oh my.
At a WWF, by the way, this is how long ago it was. A millennials, before there was WWE, it was the World Wrestling Federation.
Yeah.
So we get in there and they're filming live. Now, Chris Benoit he's already in the ring. They cut to commercial. And we talk Ray, allegedly, he's my partner at the time, to basically that Chris Benoit isn't that big of a guy, that he could take him. And we go, I think that guy, you could take him right now. And like we got like front row, and all he has to do is jump a little gate and he's in the ring. Right? Like this is a true story. And sure as fuck, we get him so riled up that he jumps in the ring.
Oh my
He jumps the gate, runs in the ring, and then like he gets arrested already and ruins a live shot of WWF, like without to cut a commercial again. So long story short, allegedly we may have talked the cops out of arresting him, but he has a lifetime ban of the WWF, which doesn't really matter because I don't exist anymore. So you can go back to WWE events. So true story, Chris Benoit.
So he was
Allegedly.
only 40 years old
Yep.
when he hung himself after he murdered his wife and his son.
Yep.
And then they did the autopsy on his brain, and he had the brain of an 80-year-old person, and he had lasting damage to every section of his brain.
Yeah.
It was the worst case of CTE ever seen.
Now, what's interesting here is this, and a lot of people don't know, why would a wrestler go through all this stuff? Well, this is the thing. If you don't wrestle, you don't get paid.
Right.
So these guys are basically what some of these guys go through. And for people that say wrestling's fake, well, go fuck yourself. Whether it's scripted, whether the thing's already decided, whether Illuminati already know who's winning or not, doesn't really matter. The fact of the matter is these guys are still getting injured.
Yeah.
These guys are taking hits. They're out there risking their lives, and they're athletes. So this is real. Wrestling's real to me, damn it. Have you ever seen the clip of the guy crying? Like that thing where that wrestling's real to me. So
we
like,
we have somebody on the line that's joined us.
oh,
You want to say hi
Who-
real quick?
who that is?
Hello, caller, you're on the line.
Hey, man.
There he is.
What?
Calm down, brother.
Do you got who do you have on the line?
I believe it's a hillbilly from up north somewhere.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so that hillbilly you used to call Sweet Tea.
There it
Is this Randy Van Sand from Leonard Skinner? So we're talking about Chris Benoit there and the head injury there, Sweet Tizzle. And but it's good to have Sweet Tea on the here on the line, because there is some definite head injury things that you should probably know for exam purposes, since this most of our audience going to take a test at some point. All right. So
That's right.
basically, things that you would want to do during that BLS points would be elevating the head. Right. Elevate the head, make sure that you're increasing venous drainage, right? If you're starting to get some of this herniation type syndromes and stuff like that. As you can see, that this show is going to be too short to be able to go into a lot of this stuff. So we're just going to give you some tidbits here, and then me and Jason recorded a whole bunch of stuff that you can somehow get to when Miss Jody tells us how to get to. So check this out, right? So elevate the head, looking forward, increases venous drainage. But the big thing, which is Sweet Tea specialty, is going to be ventilating the patient appropriately. Right? Sweet Tea?
100%.
So
Absolutely. Especially that patient has an advanced airway. There's some numbers we really got to be working towards.
So Untitled CO2, this was interesting. Last week, a couple of weeks ago, we were in the competition. There's one of the questions that they asked you in the escape room that we did in there. And apparently,
How do you get to the Untitled CO2 that you want?
well, we're going to get there, baby. You're jumping ahead of time.
Sorry.
Go ahead and get 2 minutes of penalty time on that. And so Sweet Tea, 30 to 35. Is that what we're looking for there?
Yeah, 35. Yeah, 35 really that number we want to go for. And then if we start seeing signs of herniation, we want to start that quote unquote hyperventilation and try to drive them down to that 30 range. And so some of the signs we're looking for that herniation, maybe we're unequal pupils. They're getting some of the triad that we always talk about. We want to really start ramping up that ventilation, give them more minute volume, and try to blow off some of that CO2.
So so let's say this, we get to the patient, they're apneic, they got these herniation type signs and symptoms, and you go ahead and intubate the patient, and you get an entitled CO2. Let's say we're setting the respiratory rate at 12 breaths per minute, just for the heck of it, and we get an entitled CO2 of 60 right away. And mind you, like that could be because this guy didn't get any ventilations. He wasn't getting like really good, exchange prior to the intubation. So we were dropping this guy down, getting this tube in. We put him on the vent. Now, let me back up, Sweet Tea. What is your opinion on this? Like, if we can RSI a patient, but you don't have the ability to mechanically ventilate him, what are your feelings on that?
Well, I mean, mechanical ventilation is obviously ideal. We want that if we have it as a tool that's available. But if I got an RSI patient for airway protection, I'm going to do that regardless of if I have a ventilator or not, because I can still drive the numbers that I need to drive with a BVM.
Yeah, so that's the big thing there, right? Because we're in the pre-hospital setting, we're the kings of entitled CO2. This is not, we do it better than the hospital in that situation. So if you're comfortable with the amount of breaths you're giving and doing it appropriately, then you can do the same stuff with a BVM. But the general consensus is that people want you to have this, the mechanical ventilator is the best way to go. But if that's not,
absolutely,
that's not something that's on every ambulance that's out there that carries paralytic medication. Am I correct? I mean, am I making a big assumption here? I mean, Jason?
Yeah.
You work at a place that allegedly may have paralytics.
Yeah.
Do you have a mechanical ventilator on that engine?
Not on the engine, but the paralytics are not on the engines either. So you do have to have 2 paramedics on scene to administer those paralytics, and then that also includes the transport, which does have a ventilator.
So they do have a ventilator on there.
Yeah.
And, but you've had paralytics in the situation of not having a ventilator. That's not common case in most places. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like, but Sweet Tea, when you go through this whole thing, and again, we don't have a whole bunch of time to hit this on the podcast here, but you go through that ideal body formula to determine the tidal volume, right?
Yeah, I do in a way. I'm not pulling out a tape measure and measuring how tall someone is. As a general rule, that 400 to 600 mLs is the safe tidal volume for most adult patients. And the shorter they are, the closer to 400 I am, and the taller they are, the closer to 600 I am. And really, that's just that's my starting point. And I'm going to make adjustments based off of the lung compliance they have. But especially like in these head injury patients, I'm really driving most of my decision making off of that end tidal CO2. And I think that's one of the things, especially too, for these a lot of paramedics out there that the schools do a somewhat of a poor job of really pounding in their heads the physiology of what's going on here. Because we always get, well, at least I know where I went to school, we got taught you put a tube in their mouth and you bag them 12 times a minute because that's what ACLS says. And understanding the physiology of what's going on with the patient will really help you provide better care for whatever injuries your patient has.
You know, and so back to Trisha's point when before she got put in timeout here. So what's that? I love you. You're beautiful.
I love you.
So when you intubate the patient, you get that high end tidal CO2, and you want to, let's say, drive that end tidal CO2 down, and you're using the mechanical ventilator, right? So there is actually a formula that you would use for this to determine the breath. So let's say we're at end tidal CO2 of 60, breathing 12 times per minute, and we want to make our goal end tidal CO2, let's say 40, right? See, let's say you may want to drive it down to 30 to 35, right? But you're not going to go, you want to go to 40 first, see what you're doing, and then decrease it from there. You see what I'm saying? Go step by step. So you're going to do the respiratory rate that you're at now times your end tidal CO2, okay, divided by your goal end tidal CO2.
Oh, math.
So you would come up with it.
What'd you say?
Yeah. So basically, again, in the show notes, we could probably put this, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So end tidal CO2 that you're getting now times the respiratory rate that you're getting now divided by your goal end tidal CO2 will give you the new breaths per minute. That will bring your end tidal CO2 down to your goal. It works. As long as
It
you're
works.
as long as you're close to that tidal volume,
This is not magic.
it's appropriate. No, it's not. You know, it's not random.
Oh.
You're very beautiful.
I mean,
I
I really fought the urge to just throw something out there, though.
Yeah, because you're the most random word screaming guy during class.
Yeah.
Like Jason just screams random shit.
Time.
Time.
Oh, inside jokes.
Right in my
Yeah,
mouth.
yeah,
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
yeah. So birthday buddy.
I love lamp.
Yeah. Lamp. Are you just saying you love things around the room?
I love lamp.
So birthday buddy's got like 4 pages of notes
I do.
that we're gonna like not be able to get to, like in Jason's scenario that he's been getting at for 2 weeks now. so
I have 2 things that we have
Yeah.
to remember, though, because
Yeah.
it is Black History Month.
yes. So we did not say this at the beginning of the show. So it is Black History Month, and we're going to bring you a Black History fact throughout the month of December. I mean, no, sorry, February. I am so drunk right now. I don't know what's going on. Hey, so birthday buddy, give me some Black history that's relevant to our community.
So I have 2.
Mm-hmm.
First one is Robert D. Lowry was the first African American fire commissioner at FDNY from January 1st, 1966 to September 29th, 1973.
We may have said this in prior podcast. Do you know why it's FDNY, not NYFD?
Oh, I don't know.
So NYFD was the volunteer fire department, New York, and they had trademarked the name. So when they formed like the New York City, paid department, they could not use NYFD like NYPD. So they switched it to FDNY, Fire Department of New York. Little history fact there. Did you know that, Tizzle?
That's not you.
I did not, but I will admit FDNY sounds way cooler.
It does.
I love
really
it. I
does.
love it. So me and Sweet Tea had a whole conversation today about how horrible firemen we both were. So, what else you got, birthday buddy?
I have one more that you also have a story for.
Yeah.
Cecilia Salters was the first woman assigned to a New York City truck company in 1984.
1984. So a few years later, the same woman was in a pretty iconic fire in New York City, where basically they're like about 8 stories up and they had to bail out of a window, and there was no like ladder or anything there for them to bail out. So they bail out, and like she was one of the survivors from that. Like she ended up landing on one of the guy on like the second person to come out of the window, which means she wasn't the first person to come out of the window.
Yeah. Oh,
So 60 some odd % body surface area burns she suffered while she was in that, survived and continued to work after she came back and recovered.
really?
That's crazy.
Absolutely. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So some good history facts there, because we love everybody.
Yes.
Okay.
Don't be
So-
an asshole.
Yeah, don't be an
And
asshole.
We have to be nice to everybody.
And we have to be nice to everybody. So birthday buddy, like you talked about Chris Benoit. There was the person, like the depression that goes along with CTE is one of those things that is huge.
Mm-hmm.
And the depression kind of comes in from the research that I've been doing about this the last few days, is the fact that you can't control your reactions.
Right.
So you can't control your reactions, and you have no ability to not feel the way you do,
Mm-hmm.
which is where the whole suicide kind of comes in,
Yeah.
because you just have no control over that.
You have to find a way out.
Right. And that's where the drugs also come in, because they're trying to deal with it themselves in their own way.
But statistically speaking,
This is good.
suicide is more of a result of a deep depression than drug use,
Well, no, I'm just saying that they're trying to deal with their anger issues.
or they're
and-
self-medicating.
Yeah.
So what's interesting is, and I brought the depression stuff up for a very interesting point. At the beginning of the show, we used the term for that, like when you're in this diffuse brain injury, we use the term psychomotor retardation.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Psychomotor retardation is also in the definition of depression.
Oh.
It's also in the definition of depression. So that whole inability to control yourself, force yourself to do the activities and stuff, and not having the
Okay.
control of feeling that way,
Right. Yeah. that makes
is
sense.
where the suicide comes in. So they're not, when they're in that psychomotor retardation phase, they're not suicidal. Just like the depressed person is. They're actually back to baseline when they commit suicide.
Yeah.
They're reasoning.
Right.
They
They're
don't ever want to feel that bad.
they do not
Right.
want to feel that way, and that's why they come back to it.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Like this
I
is
know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, I've been there. We
Yeah.
talked about this.
Yep.
So, like I really do want to, because I think we decided that there is a brain injury month, right? There's a brain
Mhm.
injury thing where we'll have the Seau family on the show to
Yeah.
kind of come back and hit on some of this stuff. However, like a lot of the technical parts of diffuse brain injury, we did in 10 minutes. We have a 10-minute little thing. And this is actually is good. Sweet T's on the phone, because this was his idea of actually doing like recorded legitimate things that 10 minutes, 15 minutes or less that people can
just-
use to pass their exam, but also get CE credits for it.
Yeah. Something quick.
So, before Sweet T fires you, we're going to figure out how to get this on some type of platform
Got it.
before we're all fired, because we're not wearing any pants on the podcast currently right now.
Yeah. We can't
Yeah.
stand up right now.
Yeah. So, but Sweet T, as far as like head injuries, air medical transport is concerned, is concerned on that. Like other than like elevating the head 30 degrees, the advanced airway, ventilating them on the end-tidal CO2 and stuff like that. Anything you think that we haven't mentioned that we should consider on these patients?
I wasn't on earlier, but I think sedation is key on these patients. We really got to make sure that we're keeping them properly sedated and, if necessary, paralyzed. So that way they're not coughing and gagging and increasing that ICP as well. That's one of the biggest things we can do in the pre-hospital setting to ensure that they're not spiking that ICP. Keep the head midline, control the end tidal, elevate the head if possible, and keep them sedated are kind of the big hallmarks that I think of.
As you bring that up, we talked, we were having allegedly some conversations yesterday on some other type of platform. And we were talking about lidocaine use to decrease blunt ICP, right? Which is still like in the standard thing, but we found several recent literatures in a unrelated field journal allegedly that has to do with flight medicine, and these journals actually related to the use of lidocaine as causes sometimes more problems
I was
than
about
it.
to say, I thought we stopped doing that.
Yeah, like apparently public place still recommended allegedly.
Oh.
So but it's not necessarily proven. There's not enough data that
There aren't
proves
enough studies.
that it's
Yeah,
effective.
The only studies that I've ever seen that showed to potentially blunt that intracranial pressure is when it was atomized and sprayed directly into the larynx, and then given 5 minutes to set in, so it really numbed that area before we inserted the blade, or before the blade was inserted, rather, not us inserting it. And that's really the only literature I've ever seen that kind of supported the blunting of intracranial pressure from in the RSI situations.
Which
is not something we're routinely doing in the pre-hospital field, obviously.
It's so good you mentioned that because we're going to ask Jason a question here. Watch this. Watch this. Hold my beer for a second.
My scenario.
Are you standing up right now?
No, I'm not going to stand up for this one because I have no pants on. So, Jason,
Yes.
so you have now sprayed lidocaine into somebody's throat. You with me?
I'm with you.
Okay. Main side effect of that would be
Tinnitus.
what a random. Do you see what I'm talking about? You think what I'm talking about, Sweet Tea?
Time.
This is true. This is true. This is a good one.
Okay, so
It's a hazmat thing.
Oh, really?
It would cause this.
It would cause like the sledgem. They're gonna salivate more.
Do you just like walk through? Do you guess at your mortgage? Like when you're writing your mortgage check, do you just write random?
I can't. I have to have
Do you just write random shit on the thing? It's just like actually. So lidocaine, as it absorbs to the epithelial tissue, could cause methemoglobin anemia.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. So antidote would be
methylene blue.
Man, you got one right.
Yay!
The man got one right.
Methylene green.
Don't ruin it.
Yeah, he lost it there. So, Sweet Tea, man, you drive home safe. Appreciate you calling in.
Yeah, guys, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Glad I was able to make it.
Yeah, no, man, absolutely. And we got about 15 minutes left here. So before we close it up, you got any parting words to the people out there? Any future flight crew people out there?
Enjoy the podcast. Hopefully, this new format will get you some CEUs and also keep you entertained at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. And are wearing pants during the podcast HR problem at all since you're on here?
Well, I thought there was a memo sent out that there was supposed to be no pants today, so I'm not there to enforce the rule.
Okay. Fired,
I'm
Hippo.
trusting the CEO to take care of that.
You're fired, Hippo. Take your pants off right now.
I am.
On the air.
Nobody wants to.
Yeah.
Nobody wants
So,
Nobody wants to see that.
drive safe, Sweet Tea, man. I'll hit you tomorrow.
All right, guys. Thank
Later,
you.
buddy.
Bye.
So, birthday buddy, because I love your notes, taking a whole bunch of them, and I love them. And any facts you haven't mentioned to the people yet?
Oh,
Because you got a lot of them.
there's probably a lot of them.
Hey, so I got 15 minutes reserved for this because I'm gonna go off on this.
Mm-mm.
So you brought this up earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Who is the youngest brain studied to be said as CTE? Man, I got issues with this. Go ahead.
Aaron Hernandez.
Aaron Hernandez.
27 years old.
Oh.
Yep.
Allegedly had stage 3 CTE, which stage 3 is headaches, loss of attention or concentration, depression, mood swings, explosivity, short-term memory loss, executive dysfunction, memory loss. Oh, there's that word. Visuospatial difficulties.
Good job.
Good job.
I
but
really
then
had to work on that word earlier.
I can't say that either.
And aggression
Oh.
is all signs and symptoms of stage 3 CTE.
What are signs of what's 1 and 2?
1 and 2. 1 is headaches and loss of attention.
Mm-hmm.
Stage 2 includes those. So each one it builds.
I get those.
You bring those. So stage 2 adds in depression, mood swings, explosivity, and short-term memory loss.
That's harder for you to say.
It
than the other
is.
one.
I didn't practice it.
In the 4, you said is the worst one.
4 is the worst. It is severe memory loss leading to dementia.
Wow. Babe, now let me ask you this. So you brought it up. You said you have this stuff. Can you think of any time you've actually had a possible head injury? Serious, honest to God thing.
Probably.
Doing what? Can you just give me an event?
Oh my God.
I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just
No.
asking you.
One of the numerous times I've fallen.
You fall a lot, but a lot of times on your ass.
Yeah, but I have hit my head a couple times.
But, so
Do you think hard enough?
Do you think hard enough where you've had a brain injury that has occurred?
I mean, I broke a tooth. Like
I wonder if like people can go off of videos and say, yeah, that was hard enough. Because I watch videos all the time when people get fucked up, skating, falling, whatever, and like it hurts you to watch it.
Do you think you've ever been concussed?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
You think you've ever been concussed on the job?
I can't remember. No, I don't know. I really don't know. I can't think of I'm one of those that I'll document exactly if I'm hurt or if I'm injured. I don't think that I need to go to the hospital all the time for it, but it's documented. But I can't think of anything that I've documented for my being concussed.
It'd be interesting to find that out, birthday buddy.
Do you have any documented concussions?
No.
Because you say, "Oh, I'm sure I do."
Oh yeah, jiu-jitsu. Being slammed on the ground in jiu-jitsu and doing, playing football and doing just different. Being
used to
stupid,
ride bicycles without helmets.
Right, being a stupid kid. Skating.
I had one.
What'd you have, birthday buddy?
In my driveway?
No, that was my butt. I didn't hit my head that time. No, we talked about it yesterday because we were talking about this random fluid that comes out of my nose.
Yeah, it's absolutely. I think birthday buddy's leaking some cerebral spinal fluid.
Yeah,
we're gonna test it.
We're pretty sure.
Yeah, we're gonna test the shit out of that.
But it was all the way back when I was 2 years old. But after all this research I was doing yesterday about CTE and how if it was a bad enough concussion, it never truly heals, but it progresses.
Yeah.
So, like, I have a headache all the time. I mean, I also have other medical stuff, but like, I have a headache all the time. I always feel like my brain is literally bouncing off the sides of my head. Like, there's not enough fluid in there. Like, that's a normal feeling for me. I don't know why. Nobody can explain it to me, but
you've said it several times, and I'm wondering this. And I guess it's the question we don't know, and I don't know how we would get the answer. But if you get the one concussion and it just progressed, that something about that one, let's say you only get one, right? There is a likelihood that one concussion could progressively create this, like that one thing can cause this brain damage to be degenerate, and it just gets worse and worse.
Right. I would think if you hit your head hard enough and you're concussed hard enough, or it was in a certain spot that was, you hit just right, or like mine specifically was right at the back of my head at the base of my skull. Like that's right where I landed. And like, I remember my grandmother telling me that she was almost inside the house and I was out in the driveway and she heard my head hit the concrete.
Wow. That's a hard hit.
So that's a hard hit. And then factor in that I was only 2, maybe barely 2, but yes, the size of your head is the size it's going to be, but your brain is still developing. It's still growing. So that was one of the things I found was that, kids are more likely to have this develop if they start playing contact sports like football at a young age and getting concussions, because their brains they're just not mature enough to heal the way that it would maybe if it was an adult.
Yeah. Football gets a bad name. I think that in the heads up football, since we've got some awareness to this, and protecting the kids from those impacts, I think that you're getting, hopefully less and less of this, I hate to, an interesting story. A lot of people don't understand that in the early 1900s, Theodore Roosevelt saved modern day football. A lot of people don't know that. So it's an interesting story. So like the college football was the thing. There's no professional football back then. And this guy out of the University of Chicago, he actually created something called the forward pass, which was thought to be a trick play that was against the rules during football. Football was done pretty much like rugby is. It was straight up running the ball. You couldn't pass it forward. And college people were dying playing football. And they basically outlawed football for a year. Theodore Roosevelt was the president of the United States at the time. Now, one of the things that when he founded the Rough Riders, his famous military unit that he's, and his thing was he didn't have a single officer that was on that served under him that did not play football. And because he felt that football was one of these things that created such a team atmosphere where you taught about you were doing things for the group good, the group of the great, what can't even pronounce that for the greater good, for the greater good, right?
Yeah.
You're thinking of the team versus yourself. And that's the type of officer that he wanted. And he saw that there's no other way to build that quality than a person that would play college football. And he made the rule changes. And he took this guy from the University of Chicago who was introduced the actual forward pass, and that's modern day football as we know it, saved by Theodore Roosevelt. It's part of history.
Nice.
Like that.
Wow.
So that's where it comes from here, and like so it gets a bad name, in the sense that, and now I have this question for Trish. I've been saving it the whole show. She is the mom of a young football player. I want to ask you this. Does this run through your head at all, babe?
But
about, Xander being out there in the football field and stuff like that. But what about, like, as a mom, what's the benefit you think your son's getting out there as a young football player?
I think you just said it. I think that it teaches you how to be a part of a team and to not put yourself first. And that's all I can really think of right now.
I love you. So I think that the modern day coach is teaching the kids how to hit right, how to make sure they're keeping their heads up. I think the rules are changing to save, the players, and save their brains. And
yeah, I didn't really see that many, like, any helmet on helmets when they were playing this year.
Yeah. And I definitely think that this is definitely a subject.
I do think the coaches that we got to work with were fantastic.
Yeah. I think that they were thinking about the kids
Absolutely
learning the game, and they won a lot of games. They went to
did.
the championship game and lost, and but these kids were taught to like think as a team. Sportsmanship. They lost gracefully.
Very. Yeah.
You have to be a good winner and a good loser.
Yeah. And you know what? They won a lot of games. And Sanders' first year playing football, full, on COVID year of playing football, he learned like a lot, and he was part of a winning team. Which was great, way to do it. He watched a lot of football from the sideline, but next year is a different year. You know what I mean? So I got some hope out there.
Yeah.
So, baby, what do you have before we leave the show today? Because Elizabeth, you're gonna fall asleep though.
I am about to fall asleep.
Yeah.
Jason's music. There it is.
I would say just be nice. Don't be an asshole.
Yeah.
Hey, that's my line.
Sorry.
Oopsies.
Sorry.
Everybody love everybody.
Okay, I like it. Go ahead.
No pants Thursday always.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're getting your salad tossed in a little bit. Go ahead.
Okay.
Don't be an asshole and protect your head.
Yes. Because Trish stole your shit, birthday buddy.
You did, but protect your head. It's pretty important.
Yeah. Which head? Or a cup.
Yeah.
What you got, man?
Well,
so
no,
Jason, so you're pacing. You ran on him.
Yeah.
Oh,
so yeah,
and the dude had an explosive in his chest.
he did. It was literally right on his chest.
Yeah.
And he was holding it and setting it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let me set it up first. Okay.
Oh
So
my
it was,
Only
We
like
already did that.
only like 3 minutes. So let's go ahead and
Oh.
hold that thought till the next show.
Can I hit the mute button on
Yeah.
him?
Oh.
What color are
Hey,
you?
hey, Jason, you doing a good job with this shit. I love the board.
Did we find out if he's still alive though?
no, I have no idea.
Oh, all right.
Let's
I mean,
continue. I
Alright.
can't fucking give you the solution to the problem before we get to the whole case.
There you go.
Oh,
Until we
we're
continue.
never gonna know.
I know. To be continued. God, like Jason did during air medical class, I watched like 2 of the scenarios and it was great. None of them finished the same way.
That's right.
Oh man. So listen, for people who don't know out there, the Bill Shear ALS competition is going to be
July 14th and 15th.
July 14th or 15th of this year.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be here in Orlando. Multiple scenarios. The conference is not part of the competition.
Correct.
So
it is only the competition.
start planning to come here because we're going to have 2 days of multiple scenarios,
In multiple places.
multiple places. No more sequestering. So that's official out there.
It
People are working hard on scenarios. We're going to have a giant party for you.
I feel like there should be a rule that says that if you kill somebody, that you may not.
You should
move
not
on.
win.
You
Yeah.
will not win.
You not win. You know,
I don't know.
I'm glad
I
you
mean,
mentioned that.
It's called a critical failure.
Allegedly, that may happen before in the past, but it will not happen here
Okay.
at the new Bill Shear ALS
You let somebody
competition.
die,
You're not winning.
You don't win.
you don't get to win.
You don't win.
I mean,
You don't
Just
win.
saying.
I feel like that's okay.
You don't win. You know, it's
I don't
hard.
win if I let somebody die at real work.
Exactly.
Yeah, you don't get to come back to work.
Right. Exactly.
You don't get to come back to work.
I
You
haven't
know,
done that, but
it is so awesome to be part of this. You know, it is so awesome to where the direction the company is going and you know the direction that the podcast goes. You know, we are evolving. We're learning how to do this. We're changing different things and out there. You know, it is awesome.
you can always tell us what you want, what you like, and what you don't like.
Yeah,
You can
absolutely.
email us, therescuecompany1@gmail.com.
Yep.
Just don't be an asshole about it.
Right.
Hey, baby. What
Allegedly.
next class will be for the
April 25th through the 30th or
Yeah,
something
you're
like
right.
that. is the
air
last week.
medical class. You're looking at you know, we did some numbers today here. So you're getting like
A lot.
$1,900 worth of stuff.
$1,900 worth
Worth
of
of
stuff.
certificates.
We're worth of certificates for like
1,400.
1,400 bones.
And lunch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We
Yeah, we're
we
gonna add
serve
that.
lunch every day.
So
We have a continental breakfast.
Ask
like
anybody. It's awesome.
donuts,
Mm-hmm.
donuts, coffee, orange juice.
So what we're
usually
telling
fruit.
people out there, they're listening to this, by next Monday, that $1,000 price that we have right
Oh,
now,
it's already up.
is it already up?
Sure is.
So let me do this as the CEO of this company.
Oh.
I'm gonna say this
We're
as the
gonna-
CEO of this company.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna say this that because we already have people, we have like 8 people that signed up
Yeah.
for that $1,000 price, right?
They do. Yeah.
So by Monday of next week, we're gonna bring that price back down tomorrow.
So you got 3 days.
3 days. Okay, we're gonna bring that forward. She's giving me the eyes, but listen, that's okay because I'm the CEO. I make hard decisions, and so we're gonna bring that price down to that $1,000 price again
All right.
for
Coming
till Monday.
Right now.
Till Monday. If you're signing up by Monday, it's going up to the 1,400 bones.
Listen.
And now you
Listen,
can
I'm
make
gonna put it up to 1,500 just
And-
because he's giving people a sale.
you,
I'm
and
not
you-
kidding.
and you can do payments on this, right?
Yes.
You can. PayPal will let you divide it into 4 payments.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. So
If you have a problem with that, if it's not showing up, just get with
hey,
us. We'll
listen,
help you out.
I'm giving people a break right here, man. I'm gonna
Yeah.
give you a break. I'm gonna give you a break, and the only reason I'm doing this is because you know, I've had a bunch of tequila right now. Not really, but because I think
No, I think
that this is the last time I'm doing it because I want people to come and I don't want them to
we
be
want
priced
them to
out.
come too, but
Yeah. Hey, listen,
Like-
I'm CEO.
Well, listen, and this is the thing. I guarantee that you could ask anybody that's come before, and they would say,
It's well worth the money.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Every
It's well
penny.
worth the money.
Day
Every
1
penny.
and 2 alone are worth it.
Absolutely.
I promise you this, baby. I'm not dropping the price again, but I'm doing it this time.
It's recorded.
Yeah. And I'm doing it this time for the greater good. You know, we're past our little time here. So I'll leave you
Yeah.
with this. You know what I'm saying? Knowledge out there. is not yours to keep. We need to pass it on. Don't be the smartest motherfucker in the room, you know, because like, you know, when you leave, nobody will know how to fix the problem. You know what I'm saying? Make your legacy something that cannot be erased. You know what I'm saying? Make your legacy something that cannot be erased. And the only way that happens is if we pass it on. I definitely think that in our time period that we've been around as a rescue company one, there's a whole lot of FPC patches, a lot of CFRNs, a lot of CENs, and a lot of people that have gone out there, not just the certification that they passed the exam, but they're out there doing the job. And we stand by those numbers. If you don't think, well, go fuck yourself. Later. Bye.